What is up, everybody? Welcome to Racing Dudes Live. It's me and Jared here today. And look at Jared. He looks like a different man today.
Look at that.
Wow.
I think I've decided what's going to happen is, you know how I think the bet was like if like during the Triple Crown season, like if Tappa Trice wins this or whatever, Jared shaves his beard. Well, I think what probably needed to happen was I needed to shave pre-hand. So I'll probably put him in the winner's circle today.
If he wins, it is your fault. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
It is totally your fault.
It's yeah, just we got our haircuts yesterday and I thought, you know what, let's change it up a little bit. So
I like it. Looks good.
The boys don't like. Well, one of them liked it. Cohen was like, "I don't like it." Like, thanks, buddy.
Well, Shoddy seems to maybe like it. I'm not sure. But yeah, good afternoon to Brett. Good to see you on here as always. Good to see Rob on here as always as well. We got a bunch of people. So all right, let's get to it. I hate to cut the beard talk short, but there's 1 minute to the Molly pitcher, Jared. So we need to jump in and talk about that one real quick. Right now, 1 minute to post. The favorite is Search Results. She's 4-5. Are you a little bit surprised that she's that price?
Actually, I am. I'm a little bit, just based off somehow the way these horses have been, like, the proxies and horses like that have been kind of pounded. I'm a little surprised you're getting 4-5 on Search Results. I mean, Search Results got beat, last out by freaking Kalleward. I mean, Loved, I told you, Love's a horse. I think the way this horse has just been dominating, I guess that's where all the hype is coming from here. But yeah, getting 4-5 here, huge class relief. I think it's a little surprising.
Yeah, the quote-unquote class horses have been winning so far on this day here at Monmouth Park. That does not mean that's going to happen in the 10th and the 11th race, where you kind of have that same kind of thing, the proxy type thing, where maybe they've been facing better horses and getting beat, and they drop down and they win. So that's what proxy was able to do, and consumer spending, really, for that matter, a bit. But will that mean Search Results and Red Knight win? Well, we're about to find out. Now 3-5 as I talk. You talked about Loved. I think that's clearly who everybody likes second. Is there anybody else in this race you were interested in besides the top two?
I mean, just I guess subtly, distinctly possible, the other Chad Brown. I mean, it's hard to like that horse too much considering the other Chad, Search Results is in here. But, this is a horse that ran at Monmouth last time out, looked okay. Winning that, looked a lot better than she had been looking. So, maybe, she could steal this thing if she were to go to the front or however they want to play this. But distinctly possible, I guess, is who I liked a little bit. But to me, it was like Search Results or Loved and then the three. Yeah,
I think it's interesting as I look at the will pays here for the exactas. Let me see here. The four. The 4 with the 3 is paying $9. The 4 with the 6 is paying $5. Everybody else looks like the 5 is paying $9, 7, $22, and the 8, $17. So yeah, you can create a little bit of value if you try to get Loved out of the top two. Or you obviously the best way to create value is to try to beat Search Results. I can't get last year's race out of my head where she kind of came in very similar, situation where she had been banging heads with some really good ones and finishing close, and then came here and just dominated. We're a half length away from beating Kalleward last time. I think Kalleward's 1-9 if she's in this race. So it just makes me feel like Search Results going to be tough here. Mile 16th is about her optimal distance. Once they get a little bit longer, she's in some trouble. So we'll see. Getting ready to load the gate here, Jared. This is going to be the kickoff of three really big races.
Well, my thing was it was just like with Clarier. I mean, I'm sorry, just with consumer spending, and then just with the same thing with proxy, where it was like not just do I like them, but it just feels like, you look at consumer spending, a horse that market segmentation beat 2 back. So and then that horse came back to win at Monmouth. So I feel like that horse was kind of a standout. And then same with Proxy, obviously been knocking heads with some big ones and got into a field that he could handle. And so similar here, even though I like search results even in the big races, it just feels like to me that she kind of finally catches a field that we've been saying it for how long. It's like, gosh, she's gonna win one of these races, and damn near she probably could have won the Ogden Phipps last time, and she ran her eyeballs out. It's just that freak of nature came and got her, Clarier. So it's just, which by the way, we'll see tomorrow against Ness, so that'll be fun. But yeah, I think search results to me is just, I singled the in a pretty I'd say chalky, but very. I was aggressively picking pick 3 here, and I singled her. So I think you have to do that in order to get this sequence home.
Yep, I was doing the same thing. All right, they're almost in the gate. The 8's loading here. Shotgun Hottie. We'll see if Cherie DeVoe can make an impact in this race. She's one to sneak up and do it at times. They're off. Pretty decent beginning, it looks like, for everybody here.
I'm very interested to see what the 1 or what 4 and 6 do here. With that 6 being so much speed as of late, and obviously the 4 has plenty of early speed. It looks like the 6 is going to go, and Rosario is just going to kind of sit off of it.
That's kind of what I thought would happen, exactly how it's unfolding. I did think the 6 would get the lead because the 4 doesn't have to have the lead, is probably a little bit better doing exactly what she's doing. And I'm glad that Rosario, isn't 2 links behind here. He's right there on the hip. He's saying, okay, girl, you just kind of put a little bit of pressure on the 6. She's never faced anybody like you. I'm going to sit here, and then I'm going to tell you to go, and you're going to do it. So I think he's got her in a perfect spot. You see 24 almost, 23.96 the opening quarter. I think if you like the 6 or the 4, you're feeling good. I think it's just going to be who can outkick who from here. But no arguments with Rosario here. Good ride so far.
Yeah, we're going to see what the 6 is made of, because she's got a horse breathing down her neck that she's not necessarily had.
Early move from Paco on the 8. So Paco knows this course. He's going to try to go up and steal it. You've got search results under a little bit of pressure here. She needs to get going.
Yeah, she's not exactly taken off.
Now she's starting to do it. Paco made an early move. So we're going to see here search results in between horses. Paco made an early move, whip out on search results. She's trying to outclass this 8.
Oh,
I don't think she's going to do it. Looks like Paco's going to win this race. It was a really good ride. He got the jump. Everybody was worried about the 6. Search results easily beats the 6, but ends up getting 3rd. Shotgun Hottie, the winner. Cherie DeVoe gets
Unreal.
it. So
unreal.
Yeah, give Paco credit. He made that move on the stretch, and then the horse was able to go on from there. So that's a big price to start it here, 8-1. But that thing is going to pay a whole heck of a lot more than that 8-1.
It's been that kind of day there, Mark. I don't have a lot to say to that one. I mean, it's like the horse put away the horse that you were worried about and ends up getting 3rd. So it's like
you were definitely worried at the top of the stretch. That she really wasn't kind of separating herself. So it was very interesting how that played out. And you're right. You're worried about the 6, and the 6 kind of gave way. The 8 just ran a huge race. The 5 gets up for second late. Avita, she had been running pretty good as well. I would have been less shocked if the 5 would have won the race than the 8. The 8 I had underneath, but that's where it was. So yeah, that was definitely a surprising start to this late pick 4 here.
Yep, gonna help that one start paying. I really thought that was the leg I was least worried about. So
yeah,
I had a single in the last with the Arabian Night, and I played 3 horses here coming up, and so I felt really good about getting through that leg. It's just like, again, I've had 2 daily doubles that you couldn't play because the will pays were so low, and then 3 missed bets. So it's just been kind of one of those days. It's been tough.
Yep. No, yeah, it definitely has, and that's it's interesting. The early races went pretty much to form until that ninth race. The ninth race got a little wacky. This one, I thought the horse of the ninth race, I didn't think was completely unlogical. And this one I just couldn't have got to Shotgun Hottie. This was a really uh, surprising effort by this horse to run that well and get the job done. It was a nice race, and like I said, kind of won that thing on the turn there, made that turn where the trees, where they got lost in the trees, got up to the lead and got search results in between. And then that was it. I don't know. Search results. I thought he had that horse in a really good spot. I'm really surprised she didn't fire.
I was gonna say, is this more of a Shotgun Hottie and Paco looked good, or was it a, search results just didn't fire? Because this is a horse that fires pretty much every time. She's running 4 straight grade ones, and really, other than the Breeders' Cup Distaff was close in all of them. And you're telling me today she can't get she gets tired to the 5 and Paco and Shotgun Hottie. It just seems like a poor effort to me.
Yeah, I can't really argue that. I think you're right when it comes to that. It did kind of seem like just didn't quite fire her best race, and that's what happens. Boy, you wouldn't have guessed it after how well she'd been running once again this year. So that's kind of the most surprising thing about it. Yeah, like I said, Cherie DeVoe, very good trader, and got the job done at a nice price there, 8-1. But like I said, in your pick 4s, 5s, whatever you played, that's going to pay a lot more than that 8-1. That's going to be big. So good win for Cherie and Shotgun Hottie. All right. First click of the post, or first click of the odds here, United Nations. You're going to have Red Knight at 6-5, Catnip 2-1. Everybody else 5-1 or higher. That's not too surprising, I don't think.
Yeah, no, I'm not not too shocked by that. Although I am, I'm worried about. We're very different in this race. I do like Red Knight, and I used Red Knight in that dead pick 3, but I also tried to beat Red Knight in an exacta or in a double. So I really like the 3, and I really like the 6 in this race. I think the 6 is really interesting here, especially at 5-1.
Yeah, the 6 is one I tried to. Well, I did work on a now defunct pick 3 ticket for sure, and I definitely thought the 6 had a big shot. But end of the day, I liked the 9 and 3 just a little bit too much to work the 6 on any kind of double. So it'll be interesting to see how that horse runs. He definitely seems like he's going to take a little bit of a step up here, and weirdly enough, I'm not sure that he might not need longer than 1 mile and 3/8. So that's interesting to see how the 6 kind of shows up and runs here. Good price here at 5-1. Rob says the 5 limited liability. He's got him as well, 8-1 there. I'm a little surprised that horse is 8-1.
Yeah, it's. At this point, I'm not surprised. It's sooner or later. We have 2 more races left. Well, at least for the main races here. Sooner or later, you got to think that it's going to get back to being a little more running at as it should. I really would be surprised if it's not one of these 3. Being the 5, the 6, the 3, or the 9. But I guess the options are here. Let's look at some of these doubles, or will pays, probables, I guess I should say, to the doubles here. The 3 with who is the
the
7 or no, the 8. I'm sorry, is 8-1.
Uh-huh.
Getting 15-1 on Extra Neho. You're getting 23-1 on Mage.
Getting 34-1 on Go Rocket Ride.
Yeah, you're getting some nice prices now. Let's look at Red Knight. Really not a lot of difference in those, maybe slightly lower, but 7-1 on the Red Knight to Arabian Night. So if you're going the night angle, you could do that. And then if you like the 6, really all over the place, but a little higher, but kind of the general consensus, but 10-1 on the 8, to the 8 with that 6. And so, yeah, that's not terrible considering what we've been seeing all day. And I think that just shows you, one, that this field is pretty tricky with a couple different options. And then also, obviously, the Haskell is wide open.
So the interesting thing here in the Haskell, because everybody was kind of speculating what will the odds be on our shows all week. Arabian Night is the first choice in the double will pays. Did you notice who the second choice in the double will pays was?
Hang on, I got off of it. Who is it?
Extra Anejo. Extra Anejo, the second choice in double will pays right now, or double probables, I should say right now. Extra Anejo, second choice. Mage, the third choice. Fourth choices between the 3 and the 5. That's Tap and Trice and Salute the Stars. Go Rocket Ride is the 6th choice in the double probables. That is very interesting to me. That is not something I did not expect. Extra Anejo to be second choice in this race. If the double probables hold, he certainly may end up being the second choice in the race. That's very interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, especially considering you have the Derby winner in the race. I kind of thought Mage would take a ton of money.
Yes.
Obviously, Arabian Night, would take money, but I kind of thought he would be the second choice. Mage, that is. And so, yeah, it just shows you that everyone's been excited for these horses to come, to get their, Extra Anejo, obviously, who's had a ton of hype all, since last year. And same with Arabian Night, really. So it's like everyone's excited to see these two back, it seems.
It definitely seems that way for sure. It definitely seems like everybody is buying into the hype on Extra Anejo, and why not? I mean, he I'm not saying you shouldn't. He definitely is an interesting one in here, but that's a little bit crazy. And yeah, Trish says Mage all the way. If you like Mage today,
yeah,
based on that, and again, things could change. We're still 15 minutes opposed to the 11th race, but based on what I'm seeing so far, what we're seeing so far, it feels an awful lot like if you like Mage, you're going to get the price you want. Kind of based on that, if you like anybody other than the 7 or the 8, you're going to get a decent enough price on them. So it'll be interesting to see what actually happens, but that's what we're kind of speculating 14 minutes before post here. So pretty interesting. You want to move over to Saratoga real quick and do their 8th race?
Yeah, let's do, because we got that race coming up here, which is an allowance optional claiming, and then the next race is the CCA Oaks. So lots of action going on this weekend, as you guys are very well aware of. 3 to 5 on the Chad Brown entries. Not shocked on that. Really, it's kind of seems like I'd like to see this one get home. I got a double with this into this one. So
this will be an interesting race. We talked about this a lot on the show with my dad and I. We did the late pick 5 at Saratoga. We were thinking the 1 was a pretty nice horse, but we thought there were some landmines that could trip the 1 and 1A up. I really like the 7, Jared. I use the 7 in some pick 3s. Wicco, who's I'm talking about, 11 to 1 right now on the board. Who else other than the 1 did you like here?
Just the 1.
You just like the 1, okay?
Yeah, I singled I played like 3 horses in the last that maiden special weight, and then I just played the 1 here. So I didn't get really too creative here. The 1. I'm Very Busy is a horse that, second in the Pilgrim to Major Dude, and then of course ran in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. Haven't seen since. And then the other 1 is kind of coming in off, first off the bench off of in the United States for Chad Brown, which is obviously a really good angle, and gets IRAD. I got the mount. I thought that was interesting as well. So IRAD and Pratt, I'm really not getting too creative here. The 7, I can see where you like the 7, especially being Wesley Ward and a horse that has looked good. My concern with the 7 was I think the horses look better on synthetic than turf, and they're on turf.
You're not wrong about that. I don't know. I'm always a sucker for a Wesley Ward horse, and
but you can't argue the price. I mean, that's for sure. So
right, yeah, 100%. And this is going to be an interesting race here for the Rockets as well, because we are live to the 1-7 in the pick 5 to close it out. Of course, the 1 not paying much, a couple $100. 7 is going to pay. I can't do the math in my head because it's listing it for $1, but about $2,700. So the 7 would be okay there for sure. As the Rockets try to hit both pick 5s to start Saratoga today, hit the early one as well. So we'll see if we can keep that rolling. My dad really liked the 4 and the 5 too. So I don't know. I like the 5 a little bit better than the 4 here. It's kind of odd when Santana rides for Pletcher. That was kind of the weird thing. It's like, that's interesting. But there are a couple jockeys that are out, not a couple of, more than a couple that are out at Monmouth today. So that could explain why Santana is aboard for Todd Pletcher there with the 5. So I know you got a big double though to this one. So
did you guys survive the first time starter one?
Oh, yes, of course. My dad loves Steve Asmussen, and so that was actually my top choice, his top choice. He texted me right after. He's like, all right, Asmussen's got one, so we'll see.
Did you have the 9?
What's that?
Did you guys use the 9?
We did not use the 9, no.
I got a little dicey at the end. I was
wondering. It did. Well, I mean, when you fly out of the gate like the 5 did in that 7th race, talking about Valentine Candy at Saratoga, you flew out of the gate, and when a 2-year-old does that, there really isn't any like reining him in. You just got to let him go and hope he can hold on, and he did. But he was flying. I think it was 21-3 for that opening quarter.
Yeah, he flew. I mean, if you guys haven't seen it, or go look, first just look at the horses that were in this race. I mean, so a bunch of 2-year-old colts that are bred very nicely. Valentine Candy is a son of Justify out of a Candy Ride mare, $250,000 purchase for Asmussen and Santana. So this is obviously a horse that's got a future. Really what sold me, I had the 5 as top pick, but I also used the 3 and the 7. But what kind of got me on the 5 as my top choice was I looked at I didn't look at just the workouts, but I looked at workout reports, and the workout reports on that 5. And sometimes I'm not a big workout report guy, but I think whenever it's like these first time starters and you need some sort of edge or angle, I do think they can be helpful when you see people that were looking at the horses and said, oh, this horse looked like he was wrapped up, and this horse, or this horse was asked constantly and couldn't, you know what I mean? So I don't get into it when it comes to these 3-year-olds and like the Haskell and those kind of workouts. But when it comes to a first time starter, I do look at them more than I do other ones.
I'm going to give everybody a tip, and seriously, everybody needs to take this. Okay. If it's a track that's a big track like Saratoga or Del Mar, and it's a morning line maker that does his job, David Aragona certainly does his job, John White does his job, you really don't need to buy the workouts. You just need to look at the morning line odds, because think about it for a second. This is what I told my dad, is like, I think Valentine Candy's going to win today. David Aragona made Valentine Candy 3-1 in the race. Okay, it's Steve Asmussen. Yeah, you're going to make him low odds in a maiden special weight, but we're at Saratoga. And Steve Asmussen's lower odds than Todd Pletcher. That tells you that the 5's been working really well. And why I say you got to make sure that the morning line maker is one that does his job is, I think one that doesn't is just going to make Pletcher the favorite in that race and not even research it. But Aragona's putting in the work. So when he makes that horse, and this is only applying to first time starters, by the way, in a race like this, when he makes Asmussen the favorite, that means that horse has been working really well, because he wouldn't make him the favorite over a Pletcher first-time starter. He wouldn't do it unless the horse was working extremely well. And he also made Asmussen the favorite over the Cox horse, which tells you he thought, from what he knew, what he's been reading, what he's heard, that Asmussen's horse was outworking the Cox horse. So that is one way to do it if you don't want to buy the workouts and you do trust the morning line odds maker in those first-time starter races. The odds do mean something, because he's trying to get the favorite right.
Yeah.
And so he's made that odds because he's thinking, okay, I've seen this horse can run. So, I mean, that's my little rant
too,
on
is because we've heard so many stories over the years with John about, he was in the elevator and talked to so-and-so. And have you heard about this horse, debuting? Justify obviously is one of those. But I always look at, obviously, those mornings. I mean, you can trust his,
Yep.
And let's say, let's say there's a Baffert first time starter that's not the favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I always use that as like, oh, that's not a great sign, because we know he's dialed into the Baffert barn. He's dialed into a lot of the barns, but especially Baffert. And so whenever if he starts a Baffert in the race and they're not, it's like a 5-1 morning line or something, you're like, I don't necessarily love that.
Yeah, with John, we have the luxury of being able to ask him, right?
Yeah.
With David Aragona, we don't really, but with John, we do. And so I remember there was a bunch of first-time starters in opening day at Santa Anita. It was the race that can't remember that gray horse for Baffert. Now he got hurt. Faustin. It was the race Faustin was in.
Oh yeah.
And Baffert had 3 or 4 first-time starters, and you couldn't really separate them on the page And I text John before the morning line odds came out. I knew he had them done, but they weren't published yet. I said, "Who'd you make the favorite?" And he basically said, "Well, from what I've heard, Falson is the one that he likes the best." So made him the favorite. And then this is who he likes second best, third best. So it is kind of nice to have that luxury again when you can trust that the morning line maker is actually studying and trying to get the morning line correct, and you see it like at Del Mar tomorrow, there's a horse. He set it at 5-2 and the horse is up against a pretty good Baffert. And so I circled that 5-2. It's like, okay, if he's setting that morning line that low and there's a good Baffert in the race, that tells me that horse can probably run based on the reports that everybody's talking about. So
there's a horse tonight or today at Del Mar, race 8, I think it is.
Oh, yeah,
Dua or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
8-5 morning line. Bob Baffert, Arrogate, $400,000. Zaydon. It's like that seems like a logical horse there that should run well. So and obviously, and he also takes into account more probably than anybody else as far as morning lines is not just what he's heard, but how they're going to be perceived to be bet. And that's a big thing too,
Yeah. That's not exactly saying that John or David are picking those horses, but they're telling you this is what the public has been told about these horses, basically. And then they're going to fall how they're going to fall. But that's always, like I said, that is a big angle of mine when that kind of thing happens. It's like, okay, this Asmussen can really run, because if he couldn't, or if he had just decent works, he would have been like 6-1 or 8-1. So there's 0 minutes to post, getting ready to cross over the turf here at Saratoga. So we'll see what happens
at Del Mar as well.
Oh shit, Del Mar.
Forgot about that one, right?
Flip that over. I totally forgot that they started.
Yep.
Okay,
who you got
here? Del Mar here. Let me grab my sheet. I've got the 2, the 4, and
6
not the 6.
Let's say the 6 looks gone. So
let's see. Yeah, no, I don't have the 6.
Yeah.
Is the 6
13-1 wins the first race at Del Mar. Good old Del Mar.
So Spoli gets it done on a 13-1 horse. Wow. 5-1 morning line floated up to 13-1. Let me triple check. I do not think I used the 6. So that's not the start we wanted. Had the 6 and 4th.
Del Mar it's like talking to Somich yesterday. It's like, he has a great day, but then there's times where you're like, yeah, I mean, great call on that horse, but I missed the other 2 legs. And it's just like, it's so hard to rattle off 3 or 4 or 5, whatever, sequence you're playing at Del Mar. It's tough, man.
It is really tough. And the late pick 5, I went 4 out of 5 and he went 2 out of 5 and he got his single right. And I got my single wrong. It ran second. I singled the Classical Cat in the Oceanside. He got second. So,
all right. They're loading for this race at Saratoga, then we'll kick it back over to Monmouth.
All right.
By the way, you may playing quick last minute. Who you like in the CCA?
Oh, tough. I like Gambling Girl, but that's who I picked, but I don't really love anybody in that race. That's a toughie.
Yeah, wet paint for me, but I had tried to avoid that like the plague.
Yeah, that's a toughie.
I could not get a feel for it.
All right, let's see what happens here.
They're off.
Plane 1, gonna go from the back there. Good spot for the 5 and for the 7.
They are, looks like they're moving moving pretty quick. This 2 is Antares. How fast are they going here?
24.31, so not flying.
Not as fast, as I thought. Fearless Soldier. Like you said, it's Santana and Pletcher sitting in a nice little catbird seat here.
Yeah. I think the 7's in a good spot, the 5's in a good spot, the 1A in a good spot. I mean, but the 1 does come from way out of it, the plane 1. So we'll see. Yeah, this 2 is dangerous from here.
Yeah, they're crawling 40, almost 49 flat. they're gonna have these ones are gonna have to get their motors running here if they're gonna have a chance.
Yep, we're
They're
starting.
Flavian's sitting pretty chilly on the one, like acting like he's not real concerned. We'll see.
Oh, come on. 7 or 1 or 5 or any of you. 7 just faltered. 5's faltering to 3, taking candy. Here comes a 4 scramble. That would be great for our pick 4 or pick 5. Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. 4. Nope, not going to do it. Oh, maybe.
Yep.
Well, that would be huge. I'm out of the middle, but I would be alive in the late, and that would be a big prize.
I think the 4 did it. So
I think the 4 did it as well. That would be big. But now there's 3 races to go. I've got a single in the sequence, and so there's a lot that could go wrong. But
I'll tell you what, right now I couldn't pick a 1-horse race.
Well,
it's bad. It's
I'm
real bad.
I'm shocked that neither of the ones did any running whatsoever there.
Not even a little bit.
Mm-mm.
They weren't even ridden like they were going to run well. I mean, they were just like, what the hell was that? So that's good.
Yeah.
Good effort there.
Wasn't great. Not gonna lie, it was not great. See if
Man.
the 4. Ooh, good Lord, the 3 may have got the bob. I don't know. We'll keep an eye on this. It's going to be interesting here while we're on the air, if I can keep it going. We're awaiting here. Three. I knew it. 3 got the bob.
Did it?
Yep.
Oh, man.
Yep. 3 gets the bob. When I showed that back in slow motion, I thought, nope, 3 beat him. Unbelievable. Well, that is a tough pill to swallow. Wow. Well, oh well. All right, let's go to the 11th or at Monmouth. On to the next. That is a tough pill to swallow for a pick 5. God. Oh, 14-1.
I thought that must have been a terrible bob because I thought he got it.
It was an absolutely awful bob. So when you watch that race live, the 4 pulls ahead by a decent margin. But when that camera got there, that 3 had its nose down and the 4's head was all the way back. Wow.
All right, they are loading in the gate for the United Nations. So,
wow.
Yeah, Brett, my memory is getting pretty thin though. I'm trying, but I haven't hit a Bible bet in 2 Bibles almost. We have 2 bets left of this Bible, and I didn't hit any bets on the last Bible. I haven't hit any today. Of course, I haven't had very many plays because a couple of them couldn't play because they're so low. And that's after just destroying the Preakness and the Belmont. So it's tough, man. Best
That's
bets
racing.
are not going well on the site.
That's raising, you know. Good news is on to the next, and we'll see what happens here. The one thing about it, you can't play horses you don't like. You know, so all right,
true.
they're off here. I just couldn't have got to that 8 in the last. All right, so Catnip we thought would take the lead. Not really taking the lead. The 2 is out in front.
I think it's a good spot though for the 3.
I agree.
That last race from the 3 was that's what kind of sold me on the 3. Kind of looked like the horse was done, got shuffled back, and then kind of came from out of it after being kind of in a similar spot where he's at today. So not terrible. Of course, Red Knight waiting to do his running till later. He always is in the back of the pack, and then obviously that 6 is in a good spot as well from the kind of style that he showed last time out. So
Does the 2 take them gate to wire? It's always fun when they on these turf races when they get way ahead. They never hold on. It seems like, but you always think they're going to for the longest time.
45-1. Can they do it?
It does kind of feel like Catnip is setting the pace for the quote unquote like real race. You know what I mean? Like he's clear.
They're not even going that fast, really, because even that, if you think about the gap that there is between that 2 and the 3, I mean, they still went 1:14, 49.
Yeah.
So the rest of that group is not going.
If this was Catnip and where the 2 was, you would think the race is over from here, right? But since it's a 55-1 now, you would think the horse is going to come back a little bit. We shall see. Here they come. Now Catnip's gonna get the first move on him, obviously. Here comes the 8. Foreign Relations gonna kind of follow. The 1 is following. No word from the 9 yet. Or the 6. Is it? Where is the 6? Nope, the 6
is on the rail there, and 9's gonna go out wide like he always does. Come on, 3.
Oh, come on, 3. Hold on. 6 up the rail, 9 on the outside. Here comes Therapist for Mike Maker. Therapist going to win easily by a couple at least. And there you go.
It's unbelievable. I mean, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean,
you just got to laugh. I mean, that's all you can do. It's
it's not like it's like a shocker of a horse. I mean, I think I used the horse like 3rd or 4th, right? Mm-hmm. Because the horse kind of always. But look at that. I mean, look at that.
Yeah,
I'm with you, Rob. I need a couple beers.
It's crazy. Like you're watching, you're like, oh yeah, that's easy.
I mean, the 3 gets 2nd, runs well. 6 gets 3rd, I think, maybe. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I mean, you ran 2, 3, 4, I believe. Well, 5 may get up there, but yeah, they're limited liability. Your horses were all.
I mean, listen, Brett. I know this is what you do. You always get mad towards the late of the day when we don't hit anything. It's kind of your thing, but I mean, I don't know what more I could have done. I mean, it's just one of those. Like the 3 was the horse I keyed to the 7 and the 8 in the next race. I thought the 3 ran were awesome. I never would have used a Therapist in a million years. So it's just like, there's certain bets that are you look back and say, well, that was stupid. That was, and that's why you don't bet a double that's paying $3 or whatever. Yeah. Like that's that kind of. But whenever you have a race that you really liked and it just doesn't happen, I'm at a loss there. I mean, I thought Red Knight. Red Knight is an interesting one because he didn't have a lot of pace, and that sometimes is a killer for him. But another one of those horses, Halterman, that that kind of like search results that had been getting, facing really good horses, up to the mark was a horse he ran really well against last time out. And it's like, and then you can't win here. And so it's kind of one of those frustrating days. Because I know you really liked Red Knight and he just didn't have a lot of oomph in him at the end.
Yeah. I'm really not shocked that Therapist won. I am shocked that he won by a couple. I am really surprised that Red Knight ran that poorly. That was kind of the big thing for me. I'm really surprised Red Knight was just not there. He did get 3rd. So that was he had Marla had Therapist and Red Knight. Yeah, Red Knight got up for 3rd. Like I said, Catnip kind of did what you thought, right? But Therapist just outran the expectations, and 6-1 horse that went off at 12-1. 6-1 morning line went off at 12-1. So that's
it's just
it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like it's not shocking, that he won necessarily, but you would have thought he would have won if like the 3 didn't fire and whatever. So I thought the 3 ran well. Therapist is a horse that finished 2nd in a listed stakes last out at Ellis. But it's been more of a grade 2. One of those horses that never wins a big one, but just kind of can sneak up there and run. Won the Pan American.
Yeah.
3 back. It's not like, so it's not totally shocking. Got a 95 buyer that day, which is about in line with most of these. Other than I guess Red Knight kind of runs maybe a little higher than that, but still, it's like, so the point is not necessarily surprising. It's just the way maybe the horse won. And if you would have said that's how the trip that Catnip's going to get, and I would have been like, well, I'm probably going to win.
Well, I certainly did not think mid-stretch that I was going to be calling and Therapist when he was in like 5th that I knew Therapist was going to win by 2 lengths. Let's put it that way. If he wins a blanket finish, you're a little less surprised. But I mean, it is one of those days right now. It is not. It is funky. Let's put it that way. It's very funky right now after it wasn't so funky earlier in the day. So it's really surprising to see this unfold like this. All right, first click of the odds. On to the next, right, Jared? The first click of the odds.
We have another bet left. Okay.
Arabian Night is 4-5. That first click.
A little surprised by that.
Yes.
Yep. All right. So.
So thoughts?
I'm just trying to digest. I should try to decide. I think I'm going to start drinking. Other than that, I mean, it's really like extra Neho. So that is 8-1, 5-1 on Tapatrice. The love for Tapatrice continues, not from me, but from others. Salute the Stars at 8-1, being lower price than Go Rocket Ride is wild.
I don't understand. I thought Go Rocket Ride would be like 4-1 in this race. I thought it would go lower than that morning line. I guess that's the one that just nobody really believes in. I don't know. I'm surprised that horse is 11-1. That's really shocking to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that if you between the 3 horses, Extra Neho, Arabian Night, Go Rocket Ride, kind of the new shooters. I'm not surprised that Go Rocket Ride's the 3rd option, but I am surprised that it's 4-5 to 11-1. I'm also surprised that it's 8-1 on Extra Neho. Now again, we still have 30 minutes, but I'd like to see that 4-5 float up some on Arabian Night. But I kind of thought we'd see like 6-5, 7-5 on them.
I've been speculating between 8-5 and 2-1. That does not look like it's going to happen. 4-5. That's crazy. I can't believe 4-5. I want to put JL's comment up here. JL, I think you may have said that on one of the shows.
I think it maybe was on Blinkers Off. I saw it maybe.
Yeah. And I would have told you jump all over. Yeah. Plus 750, which is about, in between 7 and 8-1. I'd jump all over. There's no way he's going to be that. He's 12-1 now. I am shocked by that price. I mean, shocked. And almost as shocked, Mage is 9-2.
Dude,
he's a Derby winner. I can't believe he's 9-2 in this race.
I mean, I guess I don't know. I mean, is the love for Bob Baffert and Arabian Night just too much?
I guess.
I mean, I don't know. I don't necessarily think we're going to see a huge change from that. I'm not, I do think Mage will be the second choice. So after all, I think that's, he might float down a little bit. If you told me Tapatrice is 5-1 and 8-1 on Extra Neo or Go Rocket Ride, I mean, I wouldn't be. I don't know if I'd be interested in playing Tapatrice at 15-1. To be honest with you, that's where I'm at with him. So 5-1, a similar price that he was in the Derby. It's kind of wild to me.
I'm shocked.
But
I'm shocked.
Let's see what we got here at.
Maybe
Saratoga, 8-5 on Wet Paint, even money on Gambling Girl with 23 minutes to post. So
yeah, so we got some time here. Even money on Gambling Girl is also very surprising to me.
I mean, all right, so let's talk it through. We got the prices here, but let's look a little bit here at some of these. You and I you at least have hit one, so you're not over. But we do need some magic to happen here, and let's take a look at these will pays. In this these exactas. So the 8-1 is paying $16. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
The 8-4 is paying $10. The 8-7 is paying $10. So about 10 on most of the horses you might like. 12, 8-5 is $12. Obviously, it gets exponentially better. Say you like Tap a Trice over Go Rocket Ride, that's paying $49. That's not bad. But obviously the 8, I mean, there's how you make money. If you really like the 8, but you're sitting there saying, well, I can't play him at 4-5. Well, who do you like next? Who do you like second? I like the 1 and the 7. Halterman likes the 1 and the 4. You play an exacta, and I mean, shit, 17-1
Well,
on the 8-1 it's 10-1 on the 8-7, 8 or 11-1. That's not bad.
yeah. Rodney's asking the 8-3 Rodney is paying $19. 8-3. Well, look, my top 2 horses in the race, which an hour and a half ago meant something because I was hitting every race. Maybe not mean as much now here in the last hour and a half, but my top 2 horses in the race straight in a race straight in an exacta here pay 17-1. So talking about the 8 and the 1. So I mean that's a day saver if you could get that to come in for sure.
All right, so let's see. Who do you Lon wants to know? Who do you think pressure on Arabian Night? Well, Adrian Knight, but we get it.
Yeah.
Adrian. Listen, here's the thing. It's a very interesting race because the Arabian Night does draw to the outside. There's no question marks. I asked you on blinkers off. You didn't even think about it. He's going to the lead, no doubt about it. Now, the interesting part of this is you have a lot of pace, seemingly, in the race. Obviously, we've seen Go Rocket Ride show pace. He's been close to it, although it doesn't look like the way he's been training. And that last race in the Affirmed, that Mandel is kind of teaching him how to rate a little bit. So he might set a nice little trip there. Mage just kind of does does a little bit of everything, but we know he's going to be coming off of it. Salute to Stars will stalk a little bit. Tap a Trice, we know he'll be in the parking lot when they come across the first time. But the big one to me that I'm curious on is Extra Neho. I think a lot of people assume Extra Neho is going to be pressing the 8, and maybe he is, but I also see him as being a horse that can kind of come from off of it a little bit, as we've seen the last couple. Although the last time he kind of got to the lead, he's facing nothing. But what do you think about Extra Neho, and how is he actually the one to pressure Arabian Night, or do you think it might be the one?
I think it's Extra Neho and Arabian Night that are going to go out there. I don't think either one of them absolutely have to have the lead, but I think those are the 2 that are going to want the lead. If you look at how Baffert usually wins these races, he's on or near the lead. So I think the 8 jumps out, tries to get that positioning, and I think it's up to the 7 to stop him from getting the lead in the rail. And so I think then it's a chess match, right? Because the 8's going. I just think he's going, and unless the 7 just flies out, and then the 8 will stock. So I think that's why Arabian Night's in a better position. He can kind of read what an Extra Neho is going to do and do what he needs to do on Arabian Night. So I think the 7-8 are the 2 that battle it out. I don't think Go Rocket Ride is naturally quite as fast as those 2, but I do think Go Rocket Ride's going to sit in that pocket right behind him, and if they start to come back, he's going to be the first one to get a shot at him.
It's going to be a very interesting race is how it's ran. I mean, you almost kind of think that 7 and 8 are going to go battle. The 7 is going to push on, and it's going to be a matter of like which one wins that battle. And 2, how much is taken out of that battle,
Mm-hmm.
It's also possible that Arabian Night is just, that Extra Neho cannot keep up with him and tires himself out just by trying to keep up, and then the 8 wins, and then something weird happens underneath. But we've seen this time and time again that a lot of times pace and speed doesn't matter a whole lot when it's a Bob Baffert horse. Sometimes they can be the speed of the speed and kind of hurt everyone else behind them, because you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you go out and try to tackle them, well, then you're out, and if you don't, well, then you're just going to let them walk on the front end. So he's an interesting one. You go back and watch his last 2 races, especially that maiden special weight. I know there's only 7 furlongs, but just cruise. 22 and 45 in the Southwest. He went 22 and 46. Extra Neho can go that fast, no doubt. He has gone that fast a couple times, especially at his debut. But it will be interesting to see what they decide to do, what TGAF wants to do with him.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It will be very interesting to see. It's definitely a rider's race because you don't have guys. You don't have guys that are horses that really want to fly, but you don't have slow ones either, and that's going to be really interesting. And I'm ready, Sean. He says, "Be prepared to have your mind blown by Arabian Night." I'm with you. I'm in that camp. I think he's special, and I think he's going to put on a special performance. But to Valley to Peak's point, off of a layoff, if it's a battle, is he quite 100%? Can he do it? I don't know. That's the intriguing part of the race. And not to mention, you got a horse like Majan here who won the Kentucky Derby, and you're going to have to fend him off as well. And I mean, we've seen some horses come from off the pace the last couple of races and look pretty good. So I wouldn't be shocked about that one at all if Mage was able to get it done. Well, I want to talk about Salute the Stars for a second because we didn't talk about him much.
I know. Yeah.
Are you shocked that he's getting bet in the doubles as hard? I mean, he's 8-1 on the odds right now on the board right now, but he's taking money in the exotics.
Yeah, we had a few people ask us after Blinkers off the other days, like, what do you guys think about Salute the Stars? We didn't talk about him much, and it's I don't think either one of us have a lot of super high opinion on him. A horse that, listen, I don't. King's Barnes, I think, is kind of a joke after that last race. Obviously, he's on the bench now, and Salute the Stars beat him, and it just definitely. I didn't get a lot out of that race as far as me thinking, oh wow, that's like a really good Brad Cox 3-year-old. I viewed it more as, wow, King's Barnes is awful. So I didn't take a lot. Maybe maybe he's the horse, right? We saw similar, obviously different situation with Cyberknife because we've been around Cyberknife for longer than Salute the Stars, who's kind of coming into his own now. But last year we saw Taba get beat by Cyberknife in this race. Now, obviously, like I say, different situation, but it's hard to say. If we sit here tomorrow or today after this race said, wow, Brad Cox, Rosario, and Gary Mary West won the Haskell, you'd be like, that's not surprising, 8-1. So that he maybe is the kind of the horse no one's talking about that could win. That's not, the names, so to speak.
I mean, I think so. Yeah.
I don't personally, I don't like him, but I do think that's what he is.
Visually speaking, I was like, I don't know. I was like, I didn't think that was a great race last time out. I thought he ran good. I mean, you want a stakes. Obviously, he ran well, but I didn't think it was like some kind of fantastic race that sets him up for this one. You look at the numbers, and it's like, yeah, he can run with these horses. So it kind of tells a different story. You just got to believe your eyes? Do you believe the numbers? I don't know. So we'll see what happens with him. I'm with you. I don't love him much in this spot. 14 minutes to the Coaching Club Americanos. I'm not sure why they're running these races so close together, but Gambling Girl still even money. I'm very surprised by that.
Yeah, I mean, that was just one of those. You and I talked a lot about that on Blinkers Off. We didn't have a lot of feel for that race at all, just because it just felt like it was one of those that you don't know, you're basically picking Gambling Girl because she got second in the Oaks, and then you like Wet Paint because she was good at one point, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's South Lawn, same with her. It's like she was good. It's like, who wants to actually come out and win this thing? And so that's why I kind of avoided that race, but that shouldn't tell you anything because the ones I picked aren't doing well either.
Yeah, no, it is interesting. It's kind of a paceless race as well. It was like who gets to the front now that Hoosier Philly's out of it. It's definitely an interesting situation. 5-horse field. Do they kind of group up all together? Do they string out? I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But even money is really a shock. Wet Paint 9-5, like I said. South Lawn, she's the one that did beat Pretty Mischievous. It was only once, but she did beat her. She's 4-1. She makes sense as well. Pretty Mischievous, she has this division on lock, and the way you really know it is when there's a big race and she's not in it, and you're like, "Ooh, this isn't much." Like this group is not much to get excited about.
No, it really isn't. It's pretty rough, really, right now in our department with some of that division.
Yeah.
it's almost like like where the 3-year-old division feels like we've got a lot of potential, a lot of possibilities for some of the, hence this race. But that division just seems like it's like defaulting
I know.
to who might be like the last one standing.
I know. I hear you on that one. Did you look at Del Mar at all? The second race from there.
I did. I think. Let me pull it up. I looked
Okay.
at all of them, but
We got 5 minutes, so we might as well go to Del Mar. Uh, since I forgot the first race, I always forget the first one at Del Mar because it's right in the middle of when everything's going nuts on the East Coast. But it shouldn't do that. Yeah. So Del Mar race 2 going off here 4 minutes. I like the 6 here. Was 4-1 morning line. Now is the favorite at 5-2. I like the 6 Soul of Midnight, name of the horse here, dropping out of starter allowance fields where ran okay. Broke the maiden for 50K. Maiden claiming at Saratoga, or excuse me, Santa Anita, and now we're in for 16K. I thought it was the right spot. Any thoughts on this one?
yeah, I mean, obviously I avoided this one mostly, but I did like I like the 6. I like the 5 a little bit as well. At 7-1, a horse that kind of been all over the place with different surfaces, has really tried all of them. But last time out, ran on the dirt and ran okay. Lost barely, but but I think this horse might. You're getting a better price. This horse is a favorite that last time out. You get Mike McCarthy, so I think the horse will run better. But I don't love much of this race. I do think your 6 is the one to beat.
One of the kind of the weird horses that I threw on a ticket here, because you really got to do that at Del Mar, and we kind of talked about it. You can find horses at prices, right? I thought the 9 was kind of an interesting look in this spot. We're definitely getting some class relief. We're moving over to the dirt. This horse hasn't been seen in nearly 2 years, but here we are in this race. I don't know. I just thought, well, this is a really weird spot to bring that horse back in. If the horse wasn't doing very good, there's no way they would bring this horse here, right? Well, we'll see. I don't know. I thought at 20-1, it's worth a shot to throw the 9 on the ticket. I think the 9 will outrun the odds. It just doesn't make any sense to me to bring the horse back in the spot.
Sometimes at Del Mar, like you said, you have to. One thing that Somich taught me a long time ago, playing, especially it's like playing tournaments and playing, especially out Del Mar, is like you gotta like just look at the horses that has shown something at some point that you can make a case for.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they've run great lately. Doesn't, but if they've shown a race, in the last year or whatever that is capable of winning here, you've got to consider for whenever you're trying to blow up stuff and obviously there's times not to do that, but a race like this where it's hard to kind of get to one. I mean, you kind of have to go a couple different angles if you want to try to find somebody.
Yeah, you're talking about Somich. He hit a pick 4 yesterday at Del Mar. And it was just a situation where he found the right 28-1 shot, right? He would have went 3 out of 4, but he had that horse on the ticket, and that spurred on a pretty big payout. So yeah, that is Del Mar in a nutshell. I mean, you don't, even if you hit a double, like I had a double at Del Mar yesterday, 2 horses that obviously I played them in a short double. You would think, 2 horses I liked, they weren't illogical at all. And I think a $5 double played $177, and that's the beauty of that track.
Man, I mean, yeah, that's wild though. Trish wants to know, just from a betting perspective, you can only bet one this year, one track, that sounds brutal to only bet one of them. Are you going Saratoga or Del Mar?
I would still go Saratoga because I've got a little better feel for that track, race in and race out. I definitely would say that for payout purposes, Del Mar is a place where you can create those payouts and you don't have to hit many to have a profitable meet there. But I would still go Saratoga because I've got a little bit better feel for the horses that are there. Not to say that I don't have a feel out in California, but Saratoga and the NYRA circuit in general, I've always been a little bit better on that circuit.
Yeah, I'd probably go Saratoga. I just like betting Saratoga better. But yeah, from like if you really dove into Del Mar constantly, day in, day out, and got a good feel for him. Like I'm talking to anybody that's listening, you can make a lot of money at Del Mar because if you learn that some of these angles from especially races like this, there's a lot of money to be made. And like you said, you don't have to hit as many at Del Mar,
Yeah.
But I just like the bigger races better. And so I go to Saratoga. Looks like they're all online.
I don't know why we're not open. And there we go. Now we're open. Oh, good start. 6 went to its knees. Get pretty decent recovery from the 6 after falling out of the gate, basically. So that's not bad.
5 goes to the lead. I thought the 5 might show some pace, but
yeah,
we'll see how far he wants to go.
5-8 out there. Yeah, your 5's in a good spot.
How fast did he push him? That's the question. Pretty fast.
22. Yeah. 6.5 for $1,600 or $16,000 claimers. That's not slow. That's for sure.
Where's your 6? Oh, I see. Yeah.
6 is kind of backing out of it a little bit. 9's in a decent spot, but I don't think he's got anything.
Come on, 5.
Maybe.
Get brave, 5. They are flying 45 flat. Someone's gonna come flying out of this.
Seems like somebody from out of it here is probably gonna win. First run. That's the 10. Yeah, 10 was very logical.
Oh, come on, 5. Fight back.
Yeah, he just went too damn fast. He ran a pretty big race.
Yeah, man. 10, 5, 7 looks like it's going to be, unless the 7 gets up. 10, 5, 7.
Set up perfect for the 10.
Oh, man. Yeah, 5 ran well.
Mm-hmm. Tried.
5 minutes.
What are 5 minutes over? Yeah.
What are we at on Monmouth? 9. By the way, looking at these odds, still 3-5 now on Arabian Night. 3-5, getting pounded. Did not think you'd get to see the 3-5 on that. I can't help but laugh when I look at you're getting 5-1 on Mage and you're getting 5-1 on Tappet Trice. Like when you compare the two of those horses, Mage annihilated them in the Derby, and then if you want to hold the Preakness against Mage, well, don't you hold the Belmont against Tappet Trice too? I mean, I don't understand how the Tappet Trice love is crazy.
I have no explanation. I'm wondering if the trainer or the owner of Mage saying this is just a prep has scared people off. That's going to be my guess. Because I mean, you look at Saratoga. Okay, the horse that got second in the Kentucky Oaks is getting pounded because usually horses that run well in the Oaks and in the Derby get pounded. That's why I thought Mage would get pounded. He is being absolutely ignored. And like I said, to the point where he's the same price as Tappet Trice. I mean, we're not talking about winning and losing the race. We're talking about what odds should each horse be. There's no way they should be the same price.
Exactly.
I mean, Extra Anejo 7-1. If you like him, I know John White his mouth's probably watering right now, wanting to bet Extra Anejo at 7-1. That's really good.
My mouth's watering on Go Rocket Ride 13-1. I mean, this is a horse that if you count, if you want to throw out, I guess, Awesome Strong at 52-1 and How Great is Nate, I'm sure those will be exacta now at 29-1. He's very much the last horse of the kind of main contending group there at 13-1. I certainly didn't think he'd be higher odds than Salute to Stars, and he's not going to be lower than Salute to Stars, So, yeah, I'm just a little surprised on the betting on Go Rocket Ride, especially with Mandela bringing, he didn't bring a lot of horses over at all, and to this race, and so I thought that horse would get a lot of love based off of that.
Shocked. I'm shocked the horse is 12-1.
I mean, that's the thing that makes this race so interesting is even if you're like me and I just think some of these new shooters are more interesting than like say the ones we've been seeing like Mage and Tappet Trice. Because of these odds are so wild, you're getting good payouts. Either whether it be a win or whether it be the exactas or whatever you're playing, the payouts are good on a day that I thought that the payouts have been awful on these will pays and things like that. So it's kind of crazy that you're seeing that today on this race.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've been surprised by a few things today. The odds here, definitely one of those things I've been pretty surprised by. It's kind of a head scratcher, but I guess I don't know. Again, I guess maybe they're the just lack of like, hey, we're here to win this thing from the mage camp has scared people off. I guess that's what it is. I don't know. I don't know.
All right, we're 1 minute to post here at Saratoga, so we'll head on over there. 6-5 on Gambling Girl, 6-5 on Wet Paint. Those are your two favorites. You got South Lawn at 4-1, Sacred Wish at 10-1, 12-1 on She's Looking Lucky. Who's your Philly scratch? So
yeah,
I never heard. Did you hear why or no?
I heard it was a vet scratch. That's all I heard. So I don't know if she has some little issues or what.
Which sucks on all the prices because I was going to try to beat her. So you kind of get. I guess what's the pick here? You're going Gambling Girl. I'm going Wet Paint. Super creative there. The two favorites, but not exactly the sexiest of races here.
No, not exactly. Hopefully they hold this Haskell up a couple minutes so we're kind of clear and don't have to rush over. Yeah, going in the gate now, South Lawn. Sacred Wish is a horse you've liked, Jared. I was surprised you didn't have any thoughts on her or any love for her.
Yeah, she burned me last time out. Okay. I liked her a lot last time and she got beat. A horse that is consistently annoying. Let's put it that way. She runs well. Gulfstream Park Oaks, she runs well, gets beat, runs in an allowance. You think, okay, she's set up perfectly for it, gets beat. So maybe this is the one she wins. I just think this is too tough a race for her.
All right, we're going to find out here. Big field of 5 going a mile and 1/8. Grade 1 Coaching Club American Oaks. They're all in line. And they're off. And South Lawn had a bad stumble out of the gate there.
This is a big race for Wet Paint, just because I kind of made the excuse for her on Blinkers Off that maybe she just hasn't liked the surfaces she was running on after Oaklawn. But if she can't, you can only run Oaklawn once a year, one season of the year. So maybe if she can't get it done here, then, or at least run well. She just hasn't run well.
Yeah, my dad was saying the same things. Like, what do you do with Wet Paint if she doesn't run well again? Like, well, I don't know. I don't know. She doesn't look to be the happiest right now, but still a long, long ways to go.
Like she's looking lucky, setting the pace there. Sacred Wish right off of her. About to link back. South Lawn Recovered is in third, and you got the two favorites in the back of the pack. It looks like they're getting ready to start their runs into the turn.
Was a really good recovery, like you said, from the one. I thought she was in a lot of trouble, but she's kind of up there. Now let's see if she's got any run. 4 starting to make a move. 1 creeping closer. 3's creeping closer. 2 starting to pick up her feet a little bit here. 4 looks solid. 2's coming now. Yeah, I think we're going to have a 2-horse race here.
The 2 and the 4 look like they're going to be tough.
The 3 is taken over.
Look at 2.
Yeah, 2's really moving good. Can they catch the 3? That's the question.
Man,
your Sacred Wish is battling here.
Can Wet Paint get to? She's going to, I think.
Yeah, she's got her. Wet Paint's going to get her.
She's got her reeled in, I think.
Oh gosh, I don't know. Oh, yeah, got her. Got her. Good race. Good race.
Oh, that's again, dude. And I'm telling you, that's Sacred Wish. She's such a frustrating horse because she runs well and just can't get it done. Now putting her on the exacta would have been nice, but
yeah, good to see Wet Paint run back to her potential there. I was a little scared of her after the race at Ellis, but good bounce back there. I don't think that was a great race overall, as far as with like the time and stuff like that. But really good effort. She fired her race talking about Wet Paint. So very good job.
All right, we are 1 minute to post. Good job on running those races back to back racing.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 minute to post, 4 to 5. Seems pretty steady there on Arabian. I don't think we're going to see anything north of even money, which is surprising. Yeah, that's what's interesting. These odds really have stayed pretty true. You haven't seen a lot of change in these numbers since they kind of first came out. Maybe a little bit, slightly different, but as far as the order of where they're at, not at all. You got 9-2 now on the 4 and the 5. It's like as soon as Mage takes a move, people bet Tabit tries. It's like we got to make sure these two are side by side though. But 11-1 Go Rocket Ride. It's wild.
There has to be a lot of buzz about how Tapit Trice is doing. There has to be, because at 9-2 and being the same as Mage and being the co-second choice in a race like this after what he's done the last two races, it's really surprising. He did run better in the Belmont and he got third, but he's the same price as a Kentucky Derby winner. And so that tells me that there's a lot of buzz on the backstretch about the 5.
It's gotta be. I mean, unless it's also just, the buzz has continued over with the horse that was a buzz horse the whole, Triple Crown season. And then horse ran, well enough in the Belmont. And I don't know. I mean, a little surprised that you're getting the same price on Mage. I know I'm trying to beat Mage a little bit, and I think it's crazy that those two are the same price. So, all right, they're getting close to the gate. Give us some people are asking final bets. What's your bet of the race?
Well, I like Arabian Night, so I'm playing the 8, but at 4 to 5, can't play it straight just to win. So I'm going 8 over the 1-4. Go Rocket Ride Min Mage.
Okay, very similar. I also too like the 8, but getting even money now on the 8. But can't play it to win. Not, at least I don't want to. So I'm going to play the 1 and the 7 in second. So that's Extra Neho and Go Rocket Ride. Both pretty good prices there. So, but if I also in the best bets I flipped it. So I played that for like 30 or 40, and then I also played it the other way around just in case the 8 gets second, gets nailed by one of those. So juice it up a little bit, but that's where I like those 3.
All right, in the gate here, except for Arabian Night. He'll be the last to load, and we'll get going. Boy, oh boy, this should be fun. We've been waiting for this one. So
this is a big race. This is winning your in for the Breeders' Cup Classic. So not just a big race for these 3-year-olds, but a big race for the Classic coming up this fall. See which 3-year-old has definitely got its berth in there. And man, these new shooters, I'm ready to see what these guys got. Oh
boy. Hold on to that horse. The 6. How great is Nate about to break out of the gate here? He did break the front. They held on to him. Hopefully. Here we go. Okay. Everything's back. They're off. Oh, gosh. And Aho broke horrible.
And so did the 8. Stumble a little bit, but he's so quick out of the gate. He's recovered.
That's really going to hurt Anejo bad. He wanted to be out there. So here we go. Arabian Night. There is a horse, Awesome Strong, going out there going crazy. Let's see if Arabian Night sits off of him. This is exact. If you could draw up what Arabian Night wanted, this is it. It's perfect.
Just kick over Extra Neo when they get out of the gate. Yeah, I was watching the 8, so I couldn't. Did the 7 just stumble or just stop, or what did he do?
It looked like the 7 stumbled to me, or it may have got slammed into a little bit by the 8. I'd have to watch it back. I can't say that with confidence. I was watching the 8 as well, and I just kind of caught the corner of the eye. The 7 did not get out of the gate.
22 and 4, but they slowed it down there. That second one, 47 and 1, as John Velasquez and the 8 have taken over the top spot from that 2. They're all tight. We got a tightly packed bunch here. Even the 5, Tabit Trice, is ahead of Extra Anejo at this point, Halterman.
Yeah, just a big peek back here from Johnny V.
Look at the 1.
Yeah, this is going to set up to against an 8-1 here. And now the trees, and now they're back. Here comes the 4 Mage. So here they all come. We're going to see what Arabian Night's got, and I don't think he's got it. I think he's done. He is done. Mage is going to dominate this race. Look at Mage. Oh, maybe not. Here comes the 1 re-rallying.
Look at the 1.
Look at Go Rocket Ride. Beautiful. Beautiful. He turned away Mage, no problem. Wow.
That's a gift too. Fucking 4.
148. So Mage gets second, and then Arabian Night in third. This was a big performance
Go Rocket
from Go
Ride
Rocket
is
Ride.
it's as an owner of him in the fantasy league, it's very frustrating to see what that horse would have done, because that was a dominating effort. No questions really. You know, that when he made the move in that turn, you thought, well, here we go. You got the 1 and the 8, and then you knew real quick, well, it's not going to be the 8, you know? So
Yeah.
Tabit tries did his thing, just ran in place basically.
He's awful.
I mean, it's just like, what do you the 4, you know, Mays ran a lot, you know, ran well. I don't think he is what the Derby was. So I think that was the outlier for sure. Extra Neo finished 4th. Just the poor break really hurt Extra Neo there, but I don't know that was actually a great effort anyways, you know? So I really think it's the 1, you know, that horse is, dude, he had a ton left in the tank too, man.
He was much the best. He was incredible in that race. Mage ran very, very well as well. Extra Anejo draw a line through it. I thought he ran a pretty big race considering the trip. And then the biggest disappointment of all, obviously, Arabian Night. That was a horrific race from him. He had no excuse. He got so lucky that Extra Anejo broke like that. But yeah, just nowhere to be found when the real running began. I cannot believe Go Rocket Ride goes off a 12-1. I cannot believe it. It wins like that. We were shocked the whole time. That's the horse I liked in second, and the horse I liked in third was Mage. So just the 8 didn't show up, but the 1-4, wow, ran extremely well in that race.
I mean, you know, Mandela said it. And he's not one of those guys. Mandela is not that's gonna, you know, he doesn't talk. You know, he when he says something, you listen. And his quote was like, "Listen, like, you know, we haven't been. It was like 20 years. You know, the last time they did it, 23 years. He won that with Dixie Union that year." And he said, "I was waiting for the right horse. We think this is the right horse for the right race at the right time." And boy, it was. My goodness, I cannot believe that horse went off at that price.
Oh, that was it's a shock. It's a total shock that the horse went off at that price. It makes it really frustrating because I had a huge double 3-9 with the 1-8. And I think the 3-1 double was paying $37 for $1. So yeah, that loss by catnip really hurts that last race.
Yep.
That was a great performance by the 1.
That's I mean, okay, so now that we've got that, you know, Go Rocket Ride in the books there. He's in now. Obviously, you got to think all signs pointing towards the Classic as he's in the gate. We talked a lot about it on Blinkers Off, you know, who won this race and kind of how serious they might be as a contender. You know, Arabian Night obviously is not that horse. Mage, obviously, you know, he's good enough to be going that direction. Go Rocket Ride. I mean, how serious do you take him in the Classic is where he's going to have to run.
Well, I feel like Mage made that move into him, and I thought, oh boy, Mage is going to just go right by, and he just dusted him. So I think he's very serious. I thought that was a really, really good race from Go Rocket Ride. Just, first time seeing it, obviously. I thought it was a really, really good race from Go Rocket Ride. And I think it confirms kind of what we thought about him, earlier in the year. We just thought this is a horse that is getting better with each start and so lightly raced. And that's why we were all over him sending to Derby Day, but when he got the fever, but he's come back and showed that we were right. And yeah, this was a huge effort. I just can't believe he's 12-1. And I really can't believe he won the race that easy. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was, it kind of looked like he made the move and then you're like, uh-oh, like you said, like he made it a little too early. Now he's going to be in trouble. And God, he looked like for a second I thought, well, we with the 8 and then need the 1, right, to finish second. Like, we got this is gonna be good. This is gonna be great. The one's gonna run good enough, and then real quick, as soon as you think that, you're like, oh shit, we're in trouble because we need the 8 in front, and it ain't gonna happen.
I thought the whole way around when the one, like I said, when the one started to make the move, it's like, this is coming in 8-1 because this 8, they haven't even asked this 8 to do anything yet. And then the 8 was completely empty. That was the problem. So the 8 had nothing to give. And then that was it. It was over at that time. So Mike Smith gets the win as well. He goes and wins the Haskell for somebody not named Bob Baffert. That's different for Mike.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, there you have it. There's the Haskell results we wondered about.
So how do you rank the top 5 3-year-olds after this?
Oh man, that's I'm probably ranking. I'm probably going, man, Forte, Go Rocket Ride now, Mage, and then maybe I guess you got to throw in like an Arcangelo,
Yep.
Who won the Belmont, and then past that, it's. I mean, they can at me all they want, but maybe it's Arabian Lion.
I mean, I think that makes sense.
He's certainly the better Arabian. I know that much.
Right. Yeah. That makes total sense. Yeah. I mean, you look at that race, boy, Arabian Night, he just didn't have any kind of effort there. So it's hard to think that he's going to, bounce back. I think Mage is, it's tough because Mage has danced all the dances where Go Rocket Ride didn't, but he just beat him pretty much on the square without much of an excuse for Mage. So Mage sits right there to where all he needs is one more win and he'll move up to number 1 basically. But I don't think you can put him 1 because he just has that Derby win and that's it as far as stakes go. So, man, that was really an impressive race from Go Rocket Ride.
Yeah, that's I just got word. It looks like our boy Somich had in the Haskell contest. He's playing. He did $100, 1-4. Paid a 128 for $2. He's leading the contest now. So there you go.
Yep.
He really liked the 4 and he liked the 1. So not that hard to get to.
I appreciate Silver Charm for calling us young. I appreciate the comment for sure. Anything but young, but thanks.
Yeah, well, Silver Charm, Bob Baffert, as you should know, because Silver Charm has won the race 9 times.
There you go.
And he doesn't ship these horses to lose. So yeah, I understand that. If it's trained by anybody else, I don't have a lot of I'm concerned off that layoff, but Bob is not shipping him to run 2nd or 3rd. So that was my big thing for him. But obviously I was wrong. So
yep.
John Doe with the comment to end the show. I love it.
I'm gonna be 40 years old there in November. So it's anything but young. Like I said.
I do think that when I shaved the beard, by the way, it did not get Tabatrice in the winner's circle. It may actually hurt. But I do think I looked younger after I got the beard shaved. So
the good news about it is you didn't pick Tabatrice.
I really think you tried to. You tried to get me to, and I'm blinkers off. You're like, oh, you're not gonna. No, I think it was before that. You're like, you're not gonna go Tabatrice. Now, the one big thing is I should have given more love to Go Rocket Ride. But having said that, I did in one of my bets, and the 4 I tried to beat Mage, and I used the 1-8, not the 1-4. So
I would say though, who was the horse I tried to talk you into playing?
I did play, but. Yeah. I just didn't play him to win, so that's really smart for me. So
I texted him last night, or was that 2 nights ago? I don't remember. Been up pretty much 24/7 lately, but I texted him last night. I said, I can't believe you're not higher on Go Rocket Ride, and of course, hey, you weren't the only one. 12-1. So
yeah,
I don't know. Hopefully, people. Go ahead.
Bummer for you, because to have that 3-1 double
Yeah.
would have been, I mean, par for the course though.
Yeah.
And really even further than that, you were smart enough to use the 1 and the 4 in the second spot in
Mhm.
your exacta. You just had the 8 keyed, and so
Mhm.
once again, one of those situations where you had the top 3 finishers and you don't hit anything. So it's a frustrating game, especially when you key these horses, and you can't play boxes all the time. You got to key them. You got to get aggressive, especially days like this when the payouts are not great. And it's super frustrating.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I thought the one I thought the one would run huge. I used the one in a lot of bets. Lost. So what are you gonna do? But I am very young, as Silver Charm says, and I will learn eventually, right? Because I haven't been handicapping for very long. I'm very young, and so I will learn. I definitely will learn.
Well, in the big picture, maybe you haven't been
This
handicapping that long. So
this is our first year, so yeah.
Listen, at the end of the day, it's it's a humbling game, and I say that because I need my therapist here, because you guys are gonna be my therapist for a second.
Okay.
Before I switch to the Miller Lights.
Will you pay? Will you pay me for it?
No, I
I'm
won't.
not gonna do it.
But
I may be young, but I don't do things for free. I know better than that.
how you can do so well in some days and so bad, like that's a Ofer, another bot. You hit one. I think you hit one in the last one, maybe. I don't remember, but I just killed the Preakness and Belmont Bibles, and now the last 2 I haven't hit a bet, not one bet. How about that? Pretty rough. Oh, and by the way, the best bets, I'm 0 for 5 on the best bets today. So
I hope Silver Charm. I hope you realize we're just giving you shit. We're not we're not mad at you or anything like that. We just latch on to stuff and we like to give people hard times as well.
yeah, maybe next year sports. How I feel.
Maybe next year sport. Yeah, I like that.
I keep trying.
Call Shoddy after this. She'll help you through it. Maybe. I don't know.
Taught me off the ledge. Yeah.
Should we stay on for Husker Butch's race?
When does he run?
Not 4 hours. 4 hours.
No.
No. Okay.
We do have Del Mar coming up. Obviously, they're running right now, but we have the what is it? The San Clemente tonight at 8. I think it's all like at 8:30. No, 8. Maybe 9 o'clock. I don't know. Sometime Eastern. Late. So make sure you take a break and get back to Del Mar. So it's not over. There's still bets to be made. I still have a bet left in my best bets. There's still hope, Halterman.
Yeah, me too. I got a Saratoga. I like this horse coming up in the next race, the 8 in the next race.
At Saratoga?
Mm-hmm.
Let's pull it up. Was that the last one? Yeah. Yeah.
The 10th. Yeah.
See, I tossed around the idea when I was playing. I didn't want to touch wet paint though, but do I play wet paint and Gambling Girl into this horse is who I thought about, the 8, right? What's the $3, $3.75. So I'm not missing out too much. All right, it's your show, man. You got to wrap it up.
Yeah, if you want to bet on Husker Butch, like I said, he's in the 8th race at Prairie Meadows tonight, 9 o'clock. That'll be fun. You can also bet the double, Husker Butch into Big Luke, because Big Luke runs in the 9th race. So a lot going on. Yeah, Del Mar, Saratoga, everybody stay tuned to the races. It's a great sport. Stay tuned. All right, guys. We're going to get out of here. We'll be back tomorrow for Dudes Who Bet Daily. We'll round out the week there and new week coming up. All right, guys. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll see you next time.